favorite athletic beer for sure. I really like the All Out Stout. That's probably my second favorite. Um, and then the wit beer might be up there as well. So I think those are my
I
three
haven't tried either
favorite.
of those 2, actually.
I
Wit beer,
love the OJ, which is made in, like, Lone Pine Brewery up in Portland, Maine. It's got great citrusy flavor, which typically is my go-to.
wait, is that a non-alcoholic brewery or?
Oh, you're talking about non-alcoholic. No, it's full on alcohol. I
Oh,
think it's, like,
gotcha. Yeah.
probably, like, 8%.
Oh, sheesh. Yeah.
Yeah, potent. Oh, what's up, guys? How's training going?
Dude, I'm broken, but
Broken?
doing
Oh,
alright.
oh, yeah, you did Boston, which crazy. You did, like, 2:23.
Yeah, I was very happy with that. I mean, it was a perfect day. We had, like, 40-degree temps and a tailwind, so
Oh, yes. I mean, what's crazy about, like, obviously with Boston being different other courses, usually you have loops and stuff, but with Boston, it just keeps going, like, towards east. So if
mhm.
you got a constant wind, that tailwind's gonna be an advantage.
It was so lucky. It's like my biggest fear was that going into race week, it was just gonna be like a headwind, like, the whole way.
Oh
You'd be
god.
fighting. I might not have raced if that were the case.
I missed out on 2018 when I had, surgery, um, like, 3 weeks before the race, and I was, like, so bummed, but then it was that
That
year
would have been a blessing in disguise, honestly.
it was that year where it was cold, windy,
Yeah.
rainy, and I was like, "Okay, maybe." It was good to miss that one for sure. Oh my
I
god.
mean, that's like a memory for a lifetime, but it would be miserable, absolutely
Yeah,
miserable during.
no, it looked like it was a very miserable day. I mean, I think typically the people that like, I think both Kenyans were leading, and then they just faltered off. They were dominating, and I think the cold just got to them, and I forgot the guy's name who won the men's. It was a Japanese guy
Yeah, Yuki
who's
some
known for running so many marathons in a year, and he ended up winning that, and Daz Linden won the, women's one, and she thought she was gonna drop out, but she ended up powering through and ended up, passing the Kenyan and winning that year. But Shalane Flanagan, I know she had a hard time. I think she had to stop at one of the porta potties from what I remember that
yeah,
race.
I think Debs waited for her in that.
Yeah,
She
so
slowed down for her, and then they worked back up together.
but she struggled bus, but Deslin just able to power through and yeah, but I obviously, like, missed out on a miserable day, so,
What year was
Yep.
this? Or
2018, like
2018?
yeah. The next
You
year I
you
was
did
able
run
to run
Boston.
it in 2019,
Uh,
but obviously with a slower seat time because I ran Vermont City not even 2 months later, was not really fully in shape because I was going in 2:37 for that Boston year, but then I did, like, 2:47 leading up to next year. So,
So what's your
yeah,
marathon score, Hayden?
2:37, that was
30.
back in, like, 2017, Vermont City.
Gotcha. I'm honestly kind of surprised it's not much faster. Have you done many marathons? Because you seem to be like a pretty strong runner, especially since I think you told me your 10K PR was like 31:30 or something.
Yeah, but marathons are not been my strong suit, to be honest with you, like, I've run
Pre-super,
5
though.
total of
He's like
them.
a sub 230 guy.
What was that, Joe?
He ran that time pre-super shoes, so by conversion, he's like a sub 230 guy.
I agree. Probably like 225, right?
Oh god, I don't know. I mean, that's what I wanted to do, sub 230 or at least low 230s, but it just always the wall. Mile 17, 18, I'm done for the most part. Actually, that 237 was kinda lucky because I was on pace for low 230s. Then mile 17 to 22, it seemed like it was gonna go on that same path, just gonna get slower and slower, legs felt heavy. And then, like, around mile 22, which is, like, on this bike path next to, Lake Champlain, like, that borders Vermont, and I think it's kind of a little bit on a decline, but it doesn't matter if it's a decline or not. At the end of a marathon, you're tired, but for some reason, I had some sort of resurgence in the legs. And then you got these relay people, some of them doing like 5K relay or half marathon relay. I was able to stick with them about a couple times, like half a mile each. so I was able to get dragged through. But like, if it was going to be the same time like every other marathon, I would just get dropped dead. But for that one, I was able to stick on them and just able to still stick under 240 that day. So, and that was only my only second marathon. So, an 11-minute improvement. So I was like, all right, marathons, I'm getting better at it. And then I decided to do Boston next year, but then had a surgery. And then ever since then, I just could not seem to get over the wall of mile 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe,
What was
you've done a number of marathons, right? You got quite a few under your belt. You probably can speak from experience. I still have yet to do a marathon, so
Don't do it. It sucks.
that's
I
why.
love the half. The half is just so much better. But
Yeah.
Nah,
yeah, I've done 5 now, so I'm
but
starting to not feel like a rookie anymore.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely have shared. I guess you dealt with enough pain at this point. You can't know what it feels like. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's the durability component is what I don't have altogether yet. Like every time I go in, it's like the aerobic fitness is there, but then my legs just start cramping or I just fall apart at the end. And I feel still like I have some energy and like I'm strong. Like I just can't push through it. And it's like, all right, just finish the race.
Mm.
yeah.
Well, still, you were able to do that on the Boston course, which is let alone one of the hardest courses. Of course, I
Yeah.
hear like New York City's harder, but
Yeah, I think that's the hardest major, right?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Is it? Yeah, I think so. Because London's pretty fast, right? Berlin's obviously very
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
Tokyo is, I think, fairly quick too, or relatively quick. Then
Yeah, it's
North
super fast.
in
They're
Chicago,
all fast except
Chicago's fine too. Yeah,
New York and Boston. Boston can be fast when you get like the ones we had
Tailwind.
last month.
yeah. And now with Sydney being a new major, I actually don't know much about the Sydney course at all.
No. But when is that going to be run during the year?
I don't know. Is it usually in the fall? I know that since they're in the southern hemisphere, it's a little bit
It might
different.
be like
Yeah.
August. It's like a
Can't
weird.
do it during the hot months. You're asking for no fast times there.
Well, that's what I mean. Hey, they're in the southern hemisphere, so our summer is their winter.
Okay.
Yeah. So if it's in August, it's like basically like a February race, I guess here. So
True.
uh, I just don't know. I actually don't know too much about their like climate and things like that. I don't know. Like it's that. I actually, it seems like it's pretty nice down there. You're right, at least like on like the coast, like in like Sydney or Melbourne or a couple of those other spots. But
Except for like the outback. That's like desert.
yeah, those are the parts where it's like when it's hot, it's hot, and when it's cold, it's cold. Yeah.
I mean, it'd be pretty cool because Nick was talking about wanting to go to Australia, but I feel like that is like the hardest hitting time zones for everyone to travel.
Oh yeah,
But
it'd be so cool. Like, that'd be such a fun way to
yeah,
do it. But it would like financially, I get it. That's like impossible to navigate.
yeah,
Right?
Yeah, I mean, we're basically flying darn near across the entire planet just to get to Australia. The Europeans, have a tougher time getting there too. But
mhm,
yeah,
but
I know it's been in the talks for years. It's been in the talks and discussion, but I think it just comes down to funding and just
yeah,
logistically how many people are going to go down there and it be a successful event. So the Australians definitely have the shortest end of the stick when it comes to World
mm,
Classic.
yeah. But still, it'd be nice to go if it can happen. I mean, I'll power through it. Why not?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking like if it means like if it helps like Markle to save enough money, maybe on a few World Classics, and then one year we're just like, hey, we're going to Australia this year, and then everybody's like, sold, like let's do it. Then
Yeah,
maybe that will get more people to do it. Now that it's like it's been in the talks for a long time. People want to go, and you just got to commit to it. Maybe and not maybe like a few years down the road, and of course like depending on permitting things like that, that always comes up. But
Mhm.
it seems nice in theory. So
They put on like a pretty legit beer mile there every year, don't they? Like the
seems like
LC
they do.
Club or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I don't know too many of the. Yeah, it's just a few of the World Classics I guess we went to. There, I don't think was any Australians there, to my knowledge. But
Yeah.
I wonder if like uh yeah, it seems like they have a few team members that put on a pretty big one every year.
Yeah, wasn't there like in the early days of the beer mile, like there was a guy who was from Australia that had the world record?
I think Josh Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
so. I think the Australians were kind of like starting to get big in the beer mile with like a few individuals, but and we always hear about like them having maybe a would have a decent beer mile team, but we just never see them because of the travel component.
Right. Right. Did they? I think they had a team in Chicago though. It seemed like they had enough guys,
Oh, did
right,
they?
Joe?
I
I know
think
you
they had a guy get third. I can't remember his name.
wasn't Finch, Nick Finch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of really good guys.
Yeah, he did get like third or fourth or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. I
I
was
know he's 5.
okay. Yeah. He was up there then.
But
But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I know that, they obviously have a crew down there and they have the people to put on the event. It's just, logistically, how can we get people down there? And,
yeah,
you know, I'm personally enjoying it a lot with the full-time job and a new part-time job. But, if we planned ahead of time, I can probably swing, a week-long trip down in Australia. I think that'd be awesome.
oh yeah. I mean, it's great to like just travel to those different places every year, and and I think Australia would be like one of those like bucket lists. I mean, I don't know where in Australia it would be hosted. I don't know if it would be Sydney or Melbourne or anything that, but
I think
Yeah,
they're
I don't know where like all their beer milers are based.
I think when they put on the one in Australia, I believe it's in Melbourne, but I could be wrong. That's
That
probably
sounds
because it makes sense.
yeah,
But yeah, like it'd be a challenge getting down there, but there's no way I could say no to that. If they said like next year's beer mile,
They announced it. They're like, "Hey, we're going to Australia next year."
I'd 100% be going.
I'm like,
yeah. I'll
"Oh,
definitely would try to make it work.
to go to Australia," because I've also just wanted to visit the country as well and
Yeah,
explore that part of the world. So,
yeah.
and they
Well,
speak English down there, so that helps us a little bit more.
well, I asked like Nick, like what would be his like dream spot, and he said Australia. But what would you guys say your dream spot would be for the beer mile?
What do
That's
you
a
think?
good question. I don't know because I haven't really traveled the world that much, to be honest. The only times I've left the US were for the last 2 World Classics. So
But any like place or country you would like to see the beer mile at, if
Oh man, something I do. I would love to see the beer mile like somewhere in Asia if I had a dream spot.
yeah,
Like somewhere like either in somewhere in Japan or China.
that's what I was thinking is Japan. Like,
Yeah,
and
yeah. I think that'd be awesome. Yeah. Obviously, that's also just as hard, if not harder, logistically.
oh god, yeah,
But I think it would be. I think it would be a heck of a time for sure if we all, if we were able to have the World Classic in somewhere in Japan. I think that'd be.
I wonder if there's any Japanese beer milers because I don't hear any about.
yeah, if we like introduced the beer mile to Japan, I could see it like blowing up there.
Yeah,
I could see for some reason. Yeah. I was just thinking like what beer, and I think some people have done Sapporo, but then I looked it up and it was 4.9%.
yo,
I dug a little deeper. I think there's a beer called Sapporo like Berserk or something. And I believe that is 5. So
Okay.
depending on, I don't know if they have 355 milliliter bottles there, but I know they definitely import them here. That we probably just have to take a bunch to go over there, unless obviously like Flight Monkeys plays a part.
I'm surprised they don't talk about like Ireland though. I think that would be my ideal spot for the
Yeah, I
next
can't
beer mile.
believe they don't send a team, to be honest.
They did send people from Ireland, like, but I don't think they were serious about it. Which
Okay.
is, I think they were just running in like the I don't know if the community races or maybe they were in the B races. I don't
I
know,
think
but
they ran like the C section. I think they
the
were,
C section. But they weren't like any
yeah,
serious like beer miles. They were just there for fun, which
yeah.
all
I
to
think
it. Like, yeah, it's about the fun
yeah.
too.
I think they were in the slowest C section. Not to, no pun intended, cesarean section. But yeah, they were I think in the heat that Mountjoy won that heat. So
Oh, really? Okay.
I think so. Yeah, I think they had like 2 or 3 guys. I want to say.
But yeah, like I mean, you hear of an event called the Beer Mile, you'd think the Irish would be all over that, you know?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. but then I'll just have one near a pub and like in Dublin, Ireland or whatever. I mean, I'd be totally down for I'd be very stoked. Or either that or Scotland. I think it's just because like I
That'd
might
be
have like
neat.
Scottish blood in me. But
I wonder if they, like Chris Russell and those guys, I wonder if they've also talked about maybe possibly hosting one year. But I know they've done it in London or, like, outside London a number of
yeah.
times, so I think they're trying to, uh, explore outside the UK a little bit.
Mm.
Um, but, yeah, I believe they did 2, like, in London back-to-back years, and then they did 1 in Manchester a few years after that.
Has Germany never been done before? Do you guys know?
I think they did Berlin back in '19, but it was on, like, a cinder track, I think, like an old split,
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I think. Um, but yeah, and then with it being in Cologne this year, that's hype too, you know? Uh, I'm pretty stoked for that.
Yeah.
I
Oktoberfest, first day of Oktoberfest.
I know.
Thursday and Friday, then we just have the whole weekend. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. I probably would leave Monday, Sunday or Monday. So that we have like at least 1 or 2 days just to chill after a Friday night race and maybe
Yeah.
enjoy the like the city a little bit more. Even though we did get to in Portugal get to like chill at the beach, which was pretty nice and relaxing.
Yeah, I would have liked to do like one more day of sightseeing around there. It did
Yeah,
feel a little crammed, but I didn't really have anything like I didn't have like a checklist of things I wanted to see there. I just kind of wanted to enjoy it.
just
So
go. Like that was your first trip to Europe?
it
Joe?
was, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
No, yeah, I thought it was pretty awesome that you guys were like, y'all's first European experience with sport beer mile. I think that's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been outside of the country for a non-beer month, so
You can solely call yourself a world-class beer mile by definition. You can
Yeah.
say the only time I've been outside the country is for a beer mile.
Well, no, one time I was out of the country on a 7th grade trip, but that was in Quebec City, which is, like, not too
really.
far off, but other than that, Windsor was the
Yeah.
second time I ever been to Canada, and then Portugal was the first time in Europe, but it's kinda sad in a sense because I don't live not even an hour south of the Canadian border.
That's true, yeah, it's
Yeah.
like practically, you know, your backyard right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just straight up, like, 91 north, and it's, like, right there. But I've been up near the border so many times. I've been up to Newport, which is, like, and Derby, the border cities next in Vermont, and or been up to Fort Kent, Maine, right at the Canadian border, but never really gone across it besides 7th grade trip and Windsor, Ontario, which is like very farther away.
Yeah, I was gonna say did you take a bus or, something, or did you fly from
Um, what I did is to
what
avoid paying for parking like $25 a day at the Boston airport, I drove down 2.5 hours at a bus station in Dover, New Hampshire, which is like not even 5 minutes away from where my sister lives.
okay,
So I would either park it there or if there's room, I can park it at my sister's and her husband can drop me off at the bus station. And then I take a bus to the Boston airport, which is about an hour 45, which is not too bad. It goes by quickly. And then I get dropped off there and then I'll fly.
gotcha. And you flew into Detroit, or
No,
Detroit?
I flew in the Windsor. Detroit, well, the thing is, though, I did want to try to get Detroit because it was cheaper flight, but I just couldn't find how to navigate to get from Detroit through like, oh, I can Uber cross borders or whatnot. And it did sound like it was kind of a pain to get through by car, or depending on what time of the day it was like held up from what I heard.
That's
So I just went to the Windsor airport and then I was waiting for like I was looking up the bus transportation there and of course like I couldn't really tell and of course it might have been like the bus I was looking up was probably running late and I just wanted to get there and there was a bunch of taxis so I decided oh whatever I'll just give this man $20 and it was like actually not even $20. I think it was just like 10 something but I gave him $20 anyway just to be nice and it was like only what, like a 10-minute trip. I think it was like 4 miles away from where we were staying, like that um apartment suite onto the college campus. I forgot what the name of the college was, but I took a
Yeah,
test.
me
Yeah.
too. Yeah, it was like a hotel style apartment kind of thing. I had a hard time kind of comprehending what it was because you walk in, there's like a reception desk, so it's like a hotel, but then they're like the hallways and everything look just like a typical dormitory, like college dormitory.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it was, and then like I remember just like seeing you for the first time is whenever because Melanie gave me a ride from
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, which was awesome because she was like, "I'm driving in if anybody needs a ride," and I'm like, "I know nobody here," and I'm like, "Hey," I just like messaged in the group chat like, "Hey, like I'll be at the Detroit airport for a few hours, but would you mind swinging by picking me up and taking me across?" And she had no problem doing that. So shout out to Melanie for
Yeah.
that.
No,
Uh,
I do remember that moment, like, because I just got there around, like, 4 or 5 o'clock, and I think a few days I found out I had a roommate. It's like, "Oh, I'm rooming with someone." I think it was either it was just I didn't notice it or Nick updated it, but I just was about to go out for a run and then all of a sudden pull up. I think it was Melly, "Hey, are you one of the beer milers?" And I didn't I don't know. It's like I'm assuming that was like maybe like it was you 2 were, I don't know, together or like he's like, "Oh, is this like your sister or whatever?" But and then you told me, "No, that's Melanie, one of the beer milers. She won a few years ago." Like, "Oh, okay, gotcha." But then but you happen to say, "Hey," you're like, "Are you Hayden?" Like, "Yeah." "Are you Will?" Like, "We're gonna be roommates." "Oh man, like, do you want to go for a run? I'll wait up." Like, it's like, "No, I'm gonna take a nap. You go right ahead."
That's
And
pretty
then
much what happened. I
yeah,
woke up early
like
through
I
yeah,
come back. I think I did
in
like
the morning.
about 8 and then came back and then I was like came in and I was like, "Hey, what up?" But you were still sleeping like, "Oh, shoot."
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, because you were literally just about to go for a run, and
Yeah.
when I pulled up and like we checked in, and I went to the dorm, and yeah, and then that was a pretty that was a pretty fun weekend for sure. Because then
Oh,
like
yeah.
just a few hours later, like we all met up at this bar and we just started hanging out and meeting all the other beer miles since we were like I know hey you've been doing it for a long time, but it was pretty cool like to meet the community and meet those people and
Yeah. I
uh
was not like I mean, typically, I would say it was like I started beer miling like 10 years ago, but it was kinda like I didn't do it constantly. Like, it was like it took me forever to finally, like, buckle down and just train for it. Because what like I said, I think, I gotta stop training for half full marathons to really, like, get the speed back. Because I don't do very well recovering from, like, marathons, half marathons, so I just, like after, like, 2018 when I was initially approached by Nick to join, and then after running Boston 2019, my just legs were just toast, so finally, at the end of 2023, I finally dedicated more time to training for it instead of just doing it after maybe shortly after running a half marathon or couple months after running a marathon and just finally doing it. So I guess I did it for a long time, but I guess preparing for it, 2024 is probably like obviously the first year of being dedicated to putting the work to get in there each year. So
or yeah, Joe, how do you I this just kind of came to my mind. You can kind of maybe kind of loop it together, but like you said that you've like I know you've done some pretty like you've run it fast like 1500 before and things like that, and then like doing marathons on top of that and trying to get that speed is a hard balance. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, like are you like still are you trying to like get that speed back or
That's
uh
the tricky part. Because like I am not like a speed guy. Like I ran some decent track times in my last season, but that was me like going all in on track and like I don't know if I'll ever get back to that fitness. And like the marathon is what I want to pursue. So I kind of try to like I want to have 2 marathon builds every year, but I also, want to be good at the beer mile and I don't want to be like a slow marathoner going into it. So I kind of approach it as like I have like my spring marathon season and then like right now into the summer like use that to like work on my speed and focus on the beer mile. And I feel like that kind of helps me in the next marathon build. Like I work on getting my speed back. Then in the fall, I have a marathon build and I feel a little faster going into it. So I feel like there's actually kind of a good balance with how it's like laid out schedule wise. The September World Classic is going to hurt a little bit because that's kind of late. So I don't know if I'll do any like specific speed workouts for that, but like, you can just you just got to be fit. That's the most important part of the beer mile.
Yeah. I mean, I think also like speed work definitely helps but if you're constantly doing like high mileage year round, I mean, I think you're just asking to like deplete your speed. And so I think
Yeah,
like speed work definitely seems important when you're not necessarily trained for the marathon, but you're just kind of like staying fit and just keeping that quick twitch.
definitely. I feel like the beer mile just gives me a good excuse to work on that stuff. Um, what about you guys? Do you guys do like a specific like beer mile training cycle, or do you just kind of like incorporate it as part of a different training cycle?
As of the past few years, since like 2023, I've been probably running on it. Well, sometimes I'm below 50 miles, but when I'm like staying consistent, I'm probably been training between 50, 60-mile weeks and run a 5K here and there or run a mile unattached somewhere um, or even a time trial. I haven't really trained for anything for a half marathon or marathon since 2023. So I mean,
Okay.
it's basically just been staying like consistent, and obviously then if I have to take a week off when I don't need to train anymore. So for example, trying to do those eggnog miles this past fall. And after my second attempt, I decided just to take a week off and then try to like get back into like steady running, even though it was kind of hard to adjust with the new coaching job because you're going to meet almost every weekend and that takes up your whole day. So, and then I finally got consistent when I wanted to try to run unattached at Harvard back in February. And then ever since then, it was more consistent. So I think it's just for me, there's like no training period. Maybe when as like each race gets closer, like within a couple months, my workouts start getting more complex or more volume. Um, and then usually like I'll try to get a long run here and there, but it's just pretty much a constant, like consistent, like 50, 60-mile weeks, few workouts, 2 or 3 workouts a week. And obviously like as it gets closer, I just do like more harder workouts. Usually like when I'm in the off season, they're kind of like cut and dry fartleks. Maybe like when I'm not completely fit, you just feel bad, especially over the winter. Cause like
Oh yeah.
the cold, yeah, like you don't have good footing or for some reason, I mean, especially like when I was getting up early to go work out, my legs don't respond well at like 5 something in the morning. If I want to do a good workout, I typically like to do them mid morning because I think the legs respond better. I mean, I can get away early morning workouts, but as long as like fartleks, I really don't care about hitting a certain pace. It's just effort wise. But the intervals I kind of like care more about in terms of hitting splits, whether it's on the track or on the road. But yeah, like basically for me, it's just been consistent, like running or whenever it's time to get more complex, then that's how I've been doing it the past 3 years or so. Yeah, 3
Not a
years.
bad approach.
Mm.
Just staying fit.
Yeah, I feel like a general rule of thumb is like, you know, depending on what event it is you're training for in the distance, like be, reasonable with your mileage, 2 to 3 workouts a week, 1 long run per week. That's fundamentally about 90% of how people train right now anyway. It's probably going to stay that way for a long time. And, you know, and like you said, like as long as you're fit in some way, shape, or form, I think uh, regardless of whatever distance you do, it's like you're going to be pretty close to what you're capable of doing. If you're fit, if you're super fit and like really good mile shape, you're probably not too far off like what you could be for like a 5K or 10K. I find it. So you might just be a little bit more sharpened and a little less aerobically fit than you would normally be, or vice versa.
Yeah. I mean, I could probably get away on a good day, break 16 in a 5K. I mean, I've done that once and yeah, but obviously like for longer races, you might have a hard time. But yeah, the leg speed definitely helps. Especially I think you can get away with running a solid 5K with good speed work and like for example, like 50, 60-mile weeks, even though typically if I want to train for a solid 5K, maybe I try 70, maybe. But I
Yeah.
think it's a good fair balance.
excluding the marathon, like if you just train for like a 5K or something like that, like 3K, 5K, you're going to be in pretty good all around shape. Like you'll be able to rip a mile, you'll be able to do a good half. Um, like I feel like you don't need that much unless you're trying to get really specific. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
60 to
true.
70 miles a week, I feel like can get you in really good shape for just about everything.
Yeah, and depending on what event you're focusing on too, trying to compete in other races that are kind of adjacent to that distance helps a lot. So like, if you're really trying to train for 1500, running a really good 3K or 5K can help, and as well as running, some, open 800 races, or 10K would be like, okay, work on your 3K, 5K for a little more speed, but then go to a half marathon if you're trying to improve your strength. So just kind of playing around with events that are, you know, because I know people talk about like conversion tables and things like that, and like there's IAAF has their calculations and things like that for what they could do, but a lot of times they're very like skewed depending on what you're good at.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, like, you guys know my buddy Matt, who is a phenomenal miler, 1,500-meter iron, but he just cannot seem to break 15 minutes to save his life. Like, he's run 3:46 for 1,500. I think he ran 4:07 or 4:08 in the mile indoors, and, like, that converts to, like, a 14:20 or something.
Yeah. Has he done a lot of 5Ks? Because I would expect him to be able to break 15 at that time.
He's done a few. He's actually done a lot more 800s than 5Ks in his career.
Okay.
If you were talking about, like, on the track, road if you incorporate road 5Ks, probably a little bit different. Um, but for the most part in college, he ran a lot of 800s because he did a lot of, like, 15-8 doubles, or he ran a really strong 1,500 and then came back and ran a 4x4, and then maybe one race or one maybe he'll do an 800, then 4x4. Uh, but usually if it was an outdoor he might do, like, one 5K for outdoor season, and then indoors, maybe just one 3K for indoor season. So, uh, I think he just was, like, just naturally comfortable running those faster races, and he's really good speed endurance, so he can really, like, hold a certain pace for a good chunk of time for, those few minutes, but as, go up the distance, I guess it's more challenging, but I just find it interesting that, like, people like, I'm just using, Matt as an example, but, like, how to find whenever you're, like, seating yourself in track meets, like, how to find your seating, and I've kind of, like, figured out to, like, take, like, your adjacent for what you're running, if you're not quite sure, whatever your PR is for those 2 races, and then average them on the IAAF table should probably be what your indicator for that race distance is. Uh, that may or may not be, like, a good way of figuring it out, but it kinda makes sense to me because you're kind of incorporating both that speed and that strength into what you're training for, so you might as well average that out, you know? But you could probably eyeball a little bit of like, "Okay, I know I've done more speed work recently, I'm probably a little bit faster," or like, been more strength focused. So,
Yeah, that makes sense. It is always funny hearing like other perspectives because like what you just described about Matt is like kind of the opposite of how I feel. Where like a long distance race, maybe not on the track, but like I'd say like 10K and up comes pretty naturally to me. Like I just have to be running consistently and I'm in decent shape for it. But like if I want to get in really good 1500 or mile shape, that takes a lot of work and a lot of like really specialized like workouts and stuff. Whereas for like other people, it's the complete opposite. Like my old teammate Cody, who came to the Windsor Beer
yeah,
Mountain,
I met Cody, yeah.
yeah, he's an 800 specialist, and we always like joke about that. How it's like the opposite for us. Like he could not run for a month and go run like a 51 in the 400, but like
That's insane,
it
yeah.
takes him like a whole training block to run like 6 minute pace for a half.
Yeah, that's definitely, like, opposite of how you're built, it seems like, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I could never run that 400 time. You could give me all the resources and time in the world. It's not going to happen.
I could trade full time. But that could be literally my life's purpose, and I would never be able to run a 51 400 ever.
Yeah,
Like you said, the resources, the training. I could probably get close and maybe run like a 52 or 53. I don't think I have the raw natural foot speed to run a 51.
yeah, same.
Yeah, Joe, I saw this earlier. I was gonna bring it up. I saw you're wearing a Puma shirt, and I kind of want to hear like I was kind of curious, just like want to hear more about how you got a deal struck with Puma to rep them at Boston.
Yeah, so PUMA, they just started in 2025 going into Boston. They started this really cool program. It's like a support program for sub elite runners. So the really interesting thing is you don't have to be that fast to be in it. The only requirement I think is sub 3 for men, sub 3:15 for women. Obviously they're kind of targeting those faster runners that are kind of like right on the edge of a breakthrough or like maybe getting near that OTQ or something. Um, but yeah, they picked 50 men and 50 women for Boston. And then I think it was another 50 men and 50 women for London. And it was like a 3-month long program where we got like a full kit. They sent us like shoes. I'll show you. I've got them all.
Yeah, I'm curious. Wow, that's sick.
Whoa.
They sent us so many pairs of shoes. Yeah, it was crazy. And we got like all these resources. They had this app called Circle, which was like I don't know, it was kind of like a Discord or like a group chat thing where there were like these message boards and stuff, and we'd have these virtual sessions like every week. Like there was a sports psychologist, a nutritionist. We got to hear from the PUMA pros. Like it was crazy. And then I was one of 6 people in the whole program. So like out of the 200, there were only 6 of us that got picked, and we got to go to North Carolina for like a 5-day training camp, with the PUMA elite team. So that was pretty crazy.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw Puma's video on that, and of course you shared it on Instagram, and I was like, this is pretty.
That was
sick.
like surreal. I was like, I feel almost like undeserving of this, you know?
Yeah, it's like it made it look like you're like a legit.
25 marathoner, and they were like, we're going to give you the pro runner treatment.
Yeah, but I feel like you still represented pretty well running. What was it, 2:23 at Boston?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the part that stung about that is the whole deal with the program is they wanted to show how much faster you could get in the Fast R3 or the DVA Elite 4. So they're 2 super shoes. And so the deal was if you beat your PR by 3 minutes, you got $3,000 cash.
Okay. I've heard about this deal actually. There's somebody in my old running club, Running Niche, I think you guys know about.
Oh yeah.
Joe, you might know a little bit more, but there's somebody in that program that actually had the same deal. Basically, he trained for New York last fall.
Okay, yeah, they did a run of it in New York last fall.
Yeah, and he was one of the representatives there, and same deal. Like if he ran, this is his PR. If he basically ran this time, he got $3,000. And
Did he get it?
I believe he was short by a minute, 45 seconds to a minute. He did PR though.
I can relate.
I know, but I was like, I was
22.
I know it's a lot easier said than done. And I may be very naive by saying this, but I'm like, dude, there's $3,000 on the line. I'm doing what it takes to win that.
Yeah, I
Like,
know.
I will run the hardest I've ever run in my entire life at $3,000.
This goes
Dude,
back to the
I've done for races where I just won a few $100s, like let alone 3,000.
yeah.
So
But what I was saying earlier about the marathon, like how for me it's the durability that I haven't gotten together yet is like I came through half. We had a pack. I found like 3 other PUMA guys that were going for the same time that like we all had the same PR, so we all made the same 3-minute bonus. And we said, all right, we're gonna come through half in 1:10:30. That'll give us a little bit of a buffer through the hills in the second half, and we should be able to finish strong, hopefully, in 2:22. So we came through in almost exactly that. It was like 1:10:35. And I hit the hills and I was like, this is getting tough, but I think I can do it. And Heartbreak Hill's at 21, and it's like all downhill or flat into the finish. And I'm coming down those downhills, and I just start feeling like all these muscle spasms in my hamstrings. And I was like,
oh
if
no.
I push this too hard, I'm gonna totally seize up and I'm not gonna finish the race. So I was like, I just have to do what I can to like get there under my PR. So I kind of knew like 5 miles out that the 3-minute bonus was out the window, and I was just trying to run to get under my 2:25. So I finished pretty happy with it overall, but
Yeah. But
it's been
especially after like heartbreak, and they say it's not the uphills, it's downhills that kill you.
yeah,
Like my old high school coach said that like Boston has ruined careers just because of the downhills. Like
yeah.
you're not the same. But doesn't take away the fact that the hills are also very challenging. And then you hear about Heartbreak Hill, but then there's that other like decent sized hill before that. I think what is around mile 18?
Yeah, there's 4 hills actually.
Yeah, but there was one that I thought was like, this is not Heartbreak, is it? Like I thought that came a little bit later. And then later on, you're like, "Yep, this is heartbreak. Oh, this sucks."
Yeah, Boston seems like a pretty, not tricky, but it is a little tricky a little bit in that, there's all these hills in it, but I believe isn't it still technically a net negative
Oh,
elevation?
yeah, it's like minus 400 feet net, I think, but you do, like it's
So it
like n
kinda
it's
feels
like
like you
900 or 1,000 feet of climbing and, like, 1,400 of descent, so it's, like, a lot of up and down.
Yeah, that's tough, yeah, for sure. Across, 26 miles, I mean, that's obviously a
Yeah,
lot break it out, but no, just hearing that, you know, that's definitely a lot of uphill you're doing too.
and, like, you hit 22 and it's, like, all downhill to the finish, which sounds really nice, but I would so much rather have it just be flat to the finish, like, once
Y
you press start brake, 'cause
Yeah,
that's just so hard on the legs when you're beat up.
right. Did you, I know you did the half at Duluth. Did you do grandma's, like, the full marathon before you?
No, I've done, the half there twice, but never the marathon. I want to one day.
Gotcha. Because that one is basically flat the whole way along.
Yeah, that's a really nice one. It's point to point.
Yeah,
Usually has a tailwind, can depend.
yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I know several people that have done, grandma's. Yeah, they have a blast doing it.
Yeah, it's a great one. Like, I mean, I haven't done the marathon there, but the half course is the second half of the marathon, so I'm pretty familiar with the course
Right.
and the whole event logistics. Like, I would really recommend that for like a debut marathoner for somebody who's trying to get started out in that or just wants a fast time. It's a great event.
For sure. I'd consider like I've even tried to like think about where I want to do my first marathon, and I think all that depends on like where I am and where I'm at in my life. So like let's say like, this fall if I had to train for one, like I thought about Indy. Um do you have to qualify to get into CIM, or is that a can you just sign up for it?
Anyone can do CIM, but they have like different levels of um there's like the elite corral and then there's the seated corral and then there's like the general field.
Okay. So it'd probably be like maybe at the top of the general field if I haven't done it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I mean, anyone can do it. Are
Gotcha.
you thinking like of a debut marathon this fall? I was gonna ask that.
No, I'm not.
You
Especially since
have any plan?
yeah, I know. It's especially since I'm already kind of in pretty good mile shape because I've been training more mid distance the last like 5 months at this point. I guess I started back in December. The first like 3 to 4 months, the first like 3 months was like really solid base building. So just very uh yeah, just getting my gradually building mileage, doing, like, maybe 2 workouts per week. One of them is, like, all threshold work, maybe some 200 at the end of it, a mile effort, and then maybe, like, a parlay, like a 10 by 1 on 1 off kinda deal. So I did that for a while to maybe mix things up, week by week. And then, so my goal is to basically finish out this mile cycle, at the North American Classic. So I have a few races I want to do before then. Um, One's in Kansas City called the KC Metro Mile, which I think I texted you guys about in our group chat,
Yeah.
um, which is June 6th. And then Macklin Mile, which is a downhill road mile here in St. Louis. It's very fast, is 2 weeks before the North American Classic on June 27th. And then I've thought about whether or not I wanted to do a beer mile time trial or do like maybe like a beer 800 or beer 1200 and do just like, 2 laps hard or 3 laps hard with, you know, still,
Feel out the pace. Yeah.
what's that?
Feel out the pace, like sub 5. Just
Exactly. Just feel at
yeah.
sub 5 or kind of like what we talked about. Just go at 5 minute pace or sub 5 minute beer mile pace until you can't, until you
Mhm.
come through the chug zone or, uh, ending the lap or ending the chug zone slower than what would normally be 5 minute pace, something like that. And then I'd probably take a little bit of time off after North American Classic, and then maybe just coast my way through Worlds if I can go. I just gotta figure things out with like work and PTO, and it's more so that than like the money. Uh, I actually got a part time job at Urban Chestnut now, so I'm a bartender. And I do that right now. I'm doing it like twice per week on average. So I'm making a little bit extra money on the side, which is nice. And also just kind of talking about the project a little bit that we're putting on. It was kind of like my motive to start working there too. So, uh, but yeah, that's kind of like where I stay on training right now. And then if I go to Worlds like September, like I'm taking time off from training for probably a little bit. Just other personal things that are going on in my life that I want to be on top of. So
There's no road racing planned for the foreseeable future,
not a lot. I
or like
guess
longer races, I guess.
yeah, I guess technically the next the next few races that I have on my itinerary are actually on roads, except for KC Metro, because Macklin's a road downhill. North American Classic is obviously on a road.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yeah. So I actually have more road races coming up playing the track races, and I just did a road 5K a few days ago. So um, yeah, but that's kind of like where I stand at this point in my training.
What about you, Hayden?
Oh, well, yesterday though, we were at a relay meet in Vermont, and for fun, they decided to have like all the coaches there, whoever wanted to do a sprint medley relay, a 100, 100, 200, 400. But I was like decided to warm up. I didn't even 100% knew I was going to do it, but and then I decided as the meet got closer to the end, I decided to warm up just in case. And I didn't have any teammates lined up. I had one other coach there, but he has wisdom teeth pulled, so he couldn't really do anything. So I just got to the start line, like, who wants to be on my team? Or else I can do the whole 800 meters. And then like two guys from another team, they were wearing jeans, but they decided to do the first two legs of the 100, and I did a 600. And we came in second. I clocked 134. I was like, "Oh, damn, I'll take that."
That's
I guess
yeah.
I opened up with a 59, and I wasn't wearing spikes, and also I was feeling sore and tight, and my legs felt heavy from Thursday's workout. So I just don't know how it was gonna go, but I figured I was gonna at least run the 400 portion of it.
Yeah,
But
that's ripping it. Yeah, what'd you wait? So what you cut through six in?
134. One of my student athletes split me. Like I didn't even ask anyone to split me. They just like clocked me at like 134. And I spent the first 200 meters in lane 3. And it didn't start on the stagger. I started in like the little triangle before the numbers. And I stayed because that's the rules. Like once you get past the 200 leg, you can merge, the 400 runners can merge in. So I decided to play by the rules and stay in lane 3 for the first 200, then merge into lane 1 after running the first 200. And it was like, I think I they think I split 29, 30, and then obviously the last 200, I felt like I hit a wall. Everything tightened up. My
Yeah,
lower back felt like it was tweaking, like, "Oh, god damn it. I haven't done this anaerobic in a long time." I could run decent mile, but going 800, 600 speed is still a little tricky for me.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
but that I wouldn't count that as a race. That was just like a spontaneous fun thing I did. But I probably will might do a 5K. Usually there's like a weekly 5K. Um, Even though like I'm gonna be busy with tracks up until like mid-June, but I might sneak in a Friday night 5K. And typically what I did last year for that is either I try to make a workout out of it and then try to do some 30-second sprints afterwards to keep the leg speed going. I don't know if they're gonna do a 5, but they did a Memorial 5-mile race, or you can do any distance you want up to 5 miles. You can turn around at any point, but the most you can go 5. And it was like a memorial run for our high school coach. And I did like last year a 5-miler, and then I go down to the high school track and do like some 400s at mile speed. So like did like just under 28 minutes for the 5 mile, then go straight down, run, and then like have like a little bit of rest, and then just do 4x400s. I think around 67, 66, 67, and just make a workout out of it. So if I'm doing like 5K or something like that, I would try to like, mimic speed, incorporate speed work along with it.
I need to start doing more of that. I haven't touched anything fast probably since the last beer mile.
God.
yeah. You think faster than like mile or like mile pace period?
No, I
Yeah,
haven't been on track since last August.
sheesh. Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to at least like get familiar with the track once again. Uh, One thing that's really helped me that I don't think I ever really did this in my running career, even like because even in college I trained more 5K, 10K specific, and I never did this. And There's a portion maybe in high school I would do like from an extreme standpoint, but I always like really try to work on speed development. So like one run during the week right now. I haven't done. I don't think I did this past week because I had a race, but just one day, maybe like after just an easy mileage run, just go to the track, put some spikes on, and with full recovery, just rip like 4x100, like sub 800 pace, basically.
Yeah.
Like get just to get your legs and your body to shock the central nervous system a little bit to really make that pace, like make mile pace feel a little bit more comfortable by running that fast. So if you're, I'm running like 13 mid, like 13 high, I think is usually why I try to run those in spikes. But it makes running 15 flat or like 15 mid to like 16 flat per 100 pace comfortable. If I'm just doing a normal stride, obviously, like I have to race it to, get a more accurate depiction of what I can actually run. But the goal for me, like, is to work on that speed development because I know the strength is there just from years of training and the base is there. So just incorporate like almost like you're training like a sprinter, but not quite that.
Yeah.
Stretching that.
I think that's a really good approach if you're trying to build mile speed. Definitely something I'm gonna probably try to steal this summer.
I think you
'Cause I
should.
feel like
Honestly, I think you should. I
yeah,
think it helped me a lot too, just because for a while, like doing strides in like 17, 18 seconds, I'm like, I'm feeling flat. Like I feel slow. Like I'm almost like
yeah,
to run that. And then after incorporating these speed development exercises, like whenever I do strides pre or post workout, um, like I can, it feels like I'm jogging running 16s, just getting like, and just working on form as well. And I've been really bad about the weight room the last few weeks, but I usually just try to get in. Uh, I did a lot of this during base building, but just like work on more like explosiveness and power in the weight room. And then, like I said, I've been bad about it for a while, but just trying to get in the weight room and make sure that like, you know, work on maybe more like plyometric specific stuff. So work more on that pop and that's explosiveness a little bit better. So
that's huge.
yeah, uh, so there's a lot. It seems like a lot more technical than even the train that I was used to in college, doing just mostly mileage and just you know making sure that I stayed healthy in the weight room and then ripping a lot of like 1K reps tempo workouts for a 10K or something.
I had that kind of like same approach when I felt like I was just having a hard time developing speed. It's like, especially like fartleks, like I'm just jumping like 1 minute on or whatever on the roads. But then finally, like, how about you just do like a 15 seconds of just good turnover? If you're not running fast, but just hold good speed, good form, and just really like, and then try to build your way up when you're like starting out from like stale legs and just learn to get that quick twitch back. And then by the time you're like starting to get your workouts are starting to get more complex, then you find yourself like easily like breaking 70 and not struggling to break 70. Um, and then you're able to be like on cruise control eventually when you're running like 66, 67s. But yeah, and I pretty much do the same thing. Is just trying like making sure that you're having get that quick twitch back, and even if, like I said, it's not fast to start off, but at least you're getting your legs familiar with it.
Hmm.
I think that's much better than I feel like a lot of people make this mistake of just going too fast too soon or too much. I think that's a very nice like way to bridge kind of the kind of like going like where you're at from like how your legs feel currently in training to try to get a little bit more pop and more speed without full on sprinting.
So, so how you guys feel confident about this July?
Well, I gotta get healthy first, but other than that, I'm really excited for it. I think it's gonna be really fun, and I feel like it's gonna be the best prepared that all of us have been for a beer mile yet. Hopefully, I think we learned a lot from last year.
Yeah, I already have. Assuming that we do get the flying monkeys acquired from Corey and Nick and Marco and all that. because I talked to their HSM team. I'm like, look, the elites are gonna want to drink like their own beer as long as it's beer mile legal. Like they may not take any urban chestnut beer to compete with this. That can be okay. And they're like, yeah, that's totally fine. So I tried to warn them too that like, oh yeah, there was a brewery that basically like sponsored the championship race the last couple of years that they might be willing to be a part of this one. Is that would that be okay? And they're like, yeah, like they didn't seem to have any issues with it at all. I think they're just happy that the event's happening and they're already providing their beer for the local races. But just to provide a little further context, but where I was going was like if we do have the Flying Monkeys beer, making sure like I've already had thoughts about having like basically the opener like zip tied to my wrists or something.
Yeah.
Just to ensure, because Hayden and I both had issues, both had problems. His was a little more extreme than
What
mine.
could go wrong just holding in your hand? I don't understand.
Oh, Jesus. I can't believe Nick thought I got bumped. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure I dropped it. And then you showed me the video, like, yeah, clear as day.
You didn't.
I
Blame
checked that
Bunnell.
thing like it was nothing.
Yeah, you didn't just drop it.
I just like act
Oh,
like it was a
that
bottle
video.
cap and just
You-
like
you, like,
didn't even think.
You missed it at first, and then I can see like you're frustrated. You finally get it open. You're like, oh god, and just like throw it back.
Yeah. And then not to mention I got clipped and you can see me kind of limping, like trying to get my spike back into place. And and then finally I was like, there, finally, boom. Oh, Jesus. I think that was probably it. The adrenaline and just like, oh God, there was too much going on in that chug zone. And then I guess didn't think and just drop it. It didn't just, like I said, it just didn't like, oh, loosey goosey. I just like chucked that thing.
I have a question. I don't think we've ever talked about this. Did you realize on the lap that you were missing it, or did you not realize till you
When I approached the beer is when I realized I went to go like, what the hell
I
happened?
saw you like you like throw up your hands like
Yeah.
ready to be running up to it.
No, as I approached the beer and I was like getting ready with my hand, and all of a sudden I noticed it's not in my hand. What the hell's going on? Shoot. And luckily someone pointed out, so I got the finish race. But there was a brief few seconds where I was like, oh great, I'm not gonna finish this. I'm not gonna make
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, well, that I actually have thought about like worst case scenarios. Like if that happened to me ever again, like how would I react if I just didn't have my opener and just didn't know where it was? I think I would just like, not even kidding. Like this may not even be legal, but just like while somebody's chugging their beer, just like grab their arm, grab their hand with their opener, and just pop mine open and just, like go. And
You could do like the 2 bottle like with the caps. Like,
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
here,
yeah.
get out of my way. I need this.
Yeah, I'm like that's probably if something were to happen and like I try to do that and they drop the opener, then that they would probably make a rule about under my name about it. I cannot use other competitors' openers, Purifoy rule. Because I don't know if you guys ever saw the
yeah,
document had the
athlete guide. Like,
athlete guy, yeah, the Kingston rules along with the like rules that have been incorporated due to like not necessarily cheating, but just like maybe unfair advantages and
some of them
like,
were
I talked to Nick about it, and he was like, "Yeah, we like to name those rules after people that have done those things." And I'm like, "I think that's awesome." Like, obviously, when Elizabeth Lasser stepped outside the chug zone one year, and they named that after her, making sure like all the bins are within the chug zone, so nobody's tempted to step outside to uh, finish drinking, to drop it, and then like the quarterback rule where you just like turn the ball,
yeah.
get all the liquid out,
Mm.
things like that. Yeah.
I thought that one was like a little nitpicky until I actually watched the video of the race where he did that, and he like actually just poured the whole bottle out into the bin. And I was like, okay, I see now.
I see. Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, there's the one that that one competitor one year filled up the beer with water.
Oh.
As
Yeah, I didn't know about that until I watched your episode with Nick last week. I
Yeah,
didn't know
he
that
told me
happened.
that when he first approached me in 2018, and that was that year. Like he talked about it, and at first when he was talking about it, I thought they would just like somehow uncap it and water it down. But he told me it was full blown water. I was like, geez, that's kind of stupid. Like, obviously, you didn't think he was not gonna get away with that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean-
I think to like his point, your point, you said like you can like why all 4 beers to be filled with water? You could have let probably 1 or 2 to be filled with beer, and you would have been fine, and then the other ones could have been with water or something. But
Or just at least like have it watered down if you could get away with it. Like,
right,
watered down beer. But
right.
clear
Yeah,
water is like, yeah, obviously,
Yeah.
and maybe like that's another thing is like people could cheat like that because you can easily like, especially like I discovered this when my parents made beer for as a hobby for a tiny bit, but after you finish the beer, you can unclamp it, and there's this tool you can unclamp it or then reclamp it.
yeah,
So
I've seen those bottle designs, yeah, that they have
yeah,
those tops,
yeah.
yeah.
So you could like do that as long as like no one knows like the kind of like the dents or anything like that, or you can just put a new cap on, and then you never know if it's been tampered with. But unless like people can really tell, this just seems a little too light for this kind of beer, maybe. But I
Yeah,
could see people getting away with that.
yeah. I don't know about you guys, but if I was him and I feel like this would be a much smarter move, but, like, I would still probably have all the beer in there, but just, like, get rid of the carbonation. Like, it's flat
Yeah.
beer. Like, flat beer basically is just water, at least to me. Maybe it's just, more calories and a little more filling when running, but
Probably tastes more disgusting.
it probably tastes gross, yeah, but, like, have you guys ever thought about how the how a flavor of a beer tastes during a beer mile? Because to me, flavor profile doesn't even cross my mind. I just try to
Nope.
get down as quick as I can.
Like, I've had, what, 8 flying monkeys in my life. I don't think I could tell you what it really tastes like.
Exactly,
I just
yeah.
know
Well,
it
there
goes
was
down
that
and
post race one we had
oh,
after
we did in Windsor, yeah.
but I don't remember what it tastes like. I just kind of like enjoyed it.
That's right. You guys all got extra ones, I think. I think everyone in the
Yeah.
A championship race in Windsor got an extra bottle. I did not, since I was
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, so I never really got to taste or have a post race Flying Monkeys beer. I did have their lager like between races. Like right before y'all's race, I got it drafted like just the like basic lager, but it wasn't like the one that Corey has used in beer miles and what we used in the last couple of years. But I was told it did not taste great at all. I think it's like an amber ale, but it's like a hoppier
Sure.
beer. Yeah, it's, like, a little more bitter, I think, than, like, an amber ale should be, but, hey, it's less carbonated, it seems like, I don't know, but
Yeah. I remember after Windsor when we all tried that, we were, like, all in the finish area, and we're like, "Well, no wonder this is so easy for Corey." Even though he still, like, smoked all of us in that race anyway.
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, whenever I did it, like, I felt like such a wuss still having to take breaks and stuff because I was afraid I was gonna puke, and I'm like, I think I told you guys afterwards, like, it is smooth, like, it's easy, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I remember Chris too, just like in Lisbon, like the day before the race when we all got together, whatever like that. He was just like roasting fly monkeys. He's like, it's flat, like flat beer, like where
I thought I don't know if you guys agree, but I felt like it did not go down quite as easy in Lisbon because it was warmer and it was, like, foamy, and I remember in Canada, it was, like, ice cold and it just, like, went down so fast.
I'm with you there. Actually, yeah, I remember like coming back from our warm up, and we still had probably 25 minutes to our race, and the balls were all out on the table.
Yeah.
It's
It was,
really
like, 93 degrees or something, I was like, "What are we doing?"
Yeah.
stupidly hot, yeah, because they said 10 to 15 minutes before, like always, and I'm like, "Okay, like, maybe they'll start bringing the beers out when we're all lined up and they do the introductions and stuff," and it's like, "Nope, we came back, the bottles were already on the tables," and I did see some foam accumulate a little bit in my bottle, but fortunately, they're like it's not as carbonated anyway, so I
Yeah.
was I was maybe a little more like, "Okay, like, maybe it's not a huge deal," but I mean, I was still 5 ounces over, so I don't know if, like, if it was in the cooler for 10 more minutes or not, maybe it would've been better or not. I'm not too sure, um,
Mm.
but
I
yeah.
couldn't tell because I mean, I guess Corey Gallagher says you way too long. Like you're good. That's what he told me.
Yeah, I think yeah, I saw, like, a clip. I think it might have been, like, your 2nd beer or something like that, where all the liquid was out of the bottle, and you were still, like, trying to get every last, like, little drop.
Done.
You're like, come on, spit it out. Come on.
Which makes me honestly more impressed with your running because, like, Joe and I probably did save ourselves at 2 to 3 seconds in the chug zone compared to you because you
Yeah.
took extra time to make sure the liquid is out, but then you would just catch us back on the running.
Yeah. Ugh. But yeah, I do need to like still get a little better at the chugging part. Just like open up your throat is just difficult to me and just a flat out just fast like chug. But right now I'm just kind of practicing through water through a glass like beer bottle because I don't want to like drink alcohol so much in that time between. So usually like as I get closer, I feel like I'll start practicing with beer. But until then, I usually start off chugging metal bottle water, like 20 ounces, trying to like guzzle
Yeah.
down that whole like 20 ounces first, and then move to what you actually practice for. Found in this old glass bottle and chug water out of it, and then I'll move up to like seltzers to get the carbonation, and then probably a couple weeks, and I'll probably start chugging beer. But it'd be nice to find flying monkeys or something like that, but you don't sell them around here.
That's what's tough. Like we never get to try it outside of the race. But
Yeah,
I keep my flying monkeys bottles like from the races right next to my sink, and like every now and then I'll just fill it up and do a practice chug.
That's smart. I have mine displayed on my window, so I'm looking at my right now actually. But the reason I was with you, Joe. I did that, but my fear was like I'm afraid I'm gonna like it's gonna like fall over while I'm like making something and break, and I'm like I can't afford to
Yeah.
break a bottle like that. It's too sentimental, and so I usually just have them on display and then use like that old like Blue Moon or Budweiser bottle for practice with water and stuff.
I don't use any of mine, and they're on a bureau. And I just like, and my dad even asked me, "Why do you just use one of those bottles up there?" Because they're sentimental. They're decoration. Those are not meant for chugging.
Right, right. I've always thought about like each of the for both those years, just grabbing one from each year and giving them to like my family members and stuff, just so they have a bottle.
Yeah.
Thought about it. Maybe I should, but right now I just have all 8 beer bottles just chilling on my windowsill.
I always did a beer swap too every year. I did one with Freda and then some other guy from Netherlands, I think, this
Oh wait,
past year.
what was it? What
A
was
beer
that?
swap. Like,
Oh, beer swap. Yeah,
yeah. I like with Freda from Sweden, I like
or Frida. Yeah.
yeah, Frida, and like we switched our fifth beer, like our
Oh,
fifth beer. And then this past actually the guy from the I think he was from the Netherlands. I think he first was asking for a jersey swap. Like, well, I this is the only jersey I have, but I was like, how about a beer swap? And so we dig down like all the beer bottles in there and we remember our numbers and colors and it's like,
Yeah,
oh, this is my and we gather them up and then we switch I have his beer bottle and he has mine. So instead of jersey swap, we did a beer swap. So hopefully I can keep that tradition going, do a beer swap with someone
that'd be cool.
from
Yeah,
another country. So I mean, I didn't do it on purpose. It just happened that way both times.
yeah,
Uh,
that's cool.
so now I think I should keep on doing it some way, somehow.
Speaking of that, do you guys think we're gonna have to try to get some new jerseys this year?
I actually have an update on that for you guys.
Oh,
So, not coming from me, nothing I've done, but I did speak to Melanie a few days ago, about, uh, mostly about all of the, just because for what we're planning here in St. Louis, I mostly wanted to talk with her about, like, the team aspect of things that Nick is really trying to push for this event and kinda wanted to gauge her thoughts on it. And she was, like, this is a different thing, but, like, we are thinking about getting, like, basically unique shirts for all of the elite athletes, and then we'll probably color code T-shirts based on the teams.
That'd
Um,
be
and then, like, I'm already kind of picturing, like, on the back, like, the athlete's name, beer mile PR, any accolades from the race or from the event itself, that kind of thing. Maybe, like, a brief.
I gotta lower my PR before July then.
5 ain't too shabby, my man, but, I see what you mean. But outside of that, she was talking to, I think, a vendor or something about trying to get new World Classic singlets. I think she and Chris have been trying to coordinate that. So I believe that project is in the works. I think there will be some new USA
Awesome.
singlets.
'Cause if we have new people, we're gonna need new ones because I feel like we don't
Ex
have left of the old ones.
exactly, yeah, I think all the blue ones sold out, so, and I think on the women's side too, like the white ones that they have, they've won the last few years. I think they're all I think they I can follow up with Melanie on that, but I believe that's what she told me is that she's in contact with a, like a vendor uh, I think did the previous USA World Classic singlets. So
That's awesome.
yeah. Which I actually really like the blue ones.
Yeah.
I thought the blue ones were pretty sweet. But part of me was like, man, I wish I was around when they had the red ones. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, those ones look nice.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind a white one.
I think a white one would be sick. I think that would be my preferred next color choice. Like the ones that the women have, maybe like redesign the font a little bit for USA, but I think like that color scheme would work really well.
Well, you do like white and red stripes down, and then you got like the blue stars on the top, maybe.
I'm not a big I'm not a big red stripe guy personally. I don't know why. I just think it reminds me of Fort Waldo. If I'm being honest, I kind of just like the if I could take an example, the I guess if you were to look at like Team USA track and field, um, either the blue ones, like just the plain blue ones, I think. What was the one that they wore? And did they wear like it seemed like they wore the same fit in Tokyo and Paris for the Olympics? Like the same design? Was it like a red, like kind of like a hot red?
Tokyo was like kind of like a weird stripy blend. I feel like it kind of looked purple.
It was like purple. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of those. But I did like the ones in I think 16 in Rio.
Yeah, those ones. I feel like those were the best ones.
Yeah, I agree.
Like 12, I think they were red.
Yeah,
USA blue, and it was
2012.
like,
Yeah. 2012 was red, but yeah. So basically just plain red. I don't know. I'm not a big like stripe, but like I think just sticking with one strong color, and then maybe the font could be like a lighter, not a lighter, but like a different color to add some contrast, but it's like subtle. I feel like plays pretty strong. But I understand with the event like the beer mile, people may want like a crazier jersey design or something. But
yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I don't ever wear my USA singlet for anything.
no, I don't.
Mine doesn't fit very well because when I showed up in Windsor, I remember Chris was like, "We only have a small," and I wanted a medium, but I was like, "I can squeeze into a small." It's like I only wear it for the World Classic because it doesn't fit me that well.
It's true. I feel like it still looks good on you.
Yeah,
The videos and stuff. Yeah. Mine's a medium. I feel like mine's maybe a tad too long. So you might be. I don't know. How tall are you, Joe? Are you 6 feet?
I think 5'11".
Okay.
No, I'm 6 feet. I'm 6 feet. Oh.
You're 6 feet. We'll just say that. But because I thought about like trying on a small at some point, but if we're out, but if you have a small, you could bring. Maybe we can like swap real quick just to see it.
Yeah.
Small and medium.
Hey, maybe if we get new ones this fall, we can actually do the jersey swap with people.
Yeah, we have to like each one of us should get like one or two extra, just to swap. Yeah. So whoever Melanie's in contact with, like order more jerseys.
I mean, I like that idea, like color coding shirts, but I was pretty proud with my Gemini design, though. I was like, I think that when Nick sent that email with the whole his request of what it should look like, it was shortly after I sent the Mimic team logo I made. I was so proud of it, and I sent it to Max, and he said he loved it. And just call ourselves the New England Wicked Good Buzz with a moose running with beer on top. I was like, hell yeah, he's gonna love this. But then he was like suggesting like keep it simple with one or two colors and maybe Boston Celtic green. I'm like, oh shoot, he's not gonna like the first jersey I did. It was just gonna be the whole logo in front. But I was like, all right, maybe just instead of Celtic, make the first green that's in the logo, and then just do New England WGB, which is one of the ones I just sent. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, will forest green work? Celtics technically sometimes wear that for special games.
That's another topic I know we've talked about just our text messages, but I know Nick's really trying to push forward for like each city captain or each somebody from each city trying to make or create some kind of official branding of their team and a mascot. Like I don't want to put like too much pressure on people if it means it's gonna take too much time, but I think people should do it if they want to do it. Like me personally, like I have a lot going on with just trying to get ready for this event already. And I've already talked to a couple of St. Louis guys like Matt obviously, and Drew, who I've only met. I think I've briefly met him once, but he was at the World Classic in Chicago and I think in Manchester. And they're fine with just like because Matt and I are involved with like this new track club we just created called Two Rivers, and uh, it kind of resembles like a lot of St. Louis elements in it already, and that's kind of like what we were trying to push forward. And like I'd asked Drew about it. He's like, "Oh yeah, no, I'd love like just to wear a singlet at the North American Championships if that means just like you know making it so we're like a team or whatnot." So I might just reach out to Nick and be like, "Hey, like we do have a track club, and but it doesn't say track club on it; it just says Two Rivers on the front because we wanted to keep it pretty like versatile for other reasons. It's just a cool. It's just a nice little singlet that Matt and my buddy Charlie designed that we like to represent and wear uh, in general. So I wonder, if, just because I don't know if I have the time to dedicate to like reach out to a jersey company and then like create some kind of crazy design or simple design even for the North American champs. But
I feel like that's great because you're. I mean, you're still repping your city. It's like on there. Everybody knows who you are, and you're all matching. Like
yeah,
most things that I feel like that the teams are matching, and that you can tell who's who.
yeah, the jersey, yeah, because we have multiple singlets. Like yeah, I know Drury has yet doesn't have a singlet quite yet. I think Matt only has smalls, but he can like we can borrow media from somebody from one of our buddies that has one. So um, yeah, I think we'll be matching. I think we'll be separated, well identified if that's a concern for people watching the race.
I think we gotta realize that it won't probably exactly be perfect, but as important thing, we just give him a show. I think that's what the crowd. I think he's worried about like
Yeah,
it being like. I don't think people are gonna be that picky, as they just see a bunch of people being very competitive in a beer mile. I think it's just gonna be spectacle, whether have matching uniforms or not. I think it's just gonna be a great show no matter what. So I don't think it has to be perfect to a T. But I mean, I do kind of like in terms of like the teams, even though it could be easier just to split it up to regions so we don't have to worry about getting that third member because we're still trying to find a third member for Team New England. So it just makes sort of sense if we maybe, if it's possible to change it, like have all the New England and New York, New Jersey's combined, have the Midwest, like Detroit and Chicago, even though that team's pretty stacked, but still, I mean,
Detroit and Chicago would just slaughter everyone. That'd be crazy.
Slaughter everybody. Yeah.
yeah.
Chicago already has the
You have four of the top. You have like four of like the top 5 or 6 just from that.
Yeah.
Like that's
But with that, like with splitting up into teams, like regions, like or like cities or like New England, then that kind of makes it a little bit more fair game. Because just alone, like with Max and I, like, and all we need is just one more decent runner, and we could have a shot if we all have good days. A lot of teams can be like one off, like one runner off from actually being competitive. So I think in terms of like splitting it up, it does make it a little bit more competitive versus like USA and Canada. I don't know how many Canadian runners are going, but I feel like USA with all the runners we're here that are going, I feel like we're going to have way more depth.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be tricky for Canada to win. So why not just split it up and then just whoever Canadian, like I said, what Nick has been doing, assign a Canadian that's closest to what region, and then there you go.
yeah. I know that confirmed is Bellamore, Maxime, and Markle of the Canadians. Madroy is out, unfortunately. But I think I think there's only going to be 3. And Marco, I think, is even questionable too. I think like he'll be here regardless, but actually competing, I think he said that I think he was dealing with like arthritis or something.
Oh man.
So I mean he's he's in his 50s now, so and he's very fast for his age, which is great. I just think as long as he's healthy at the start line, then
Mm-hmm.
we're good to go. And he can obviously he's a phenomenal chugger, so he can do it. But I was talking to Nick. I was like, ironically, the one team that I thought that wouldn't be any issue uh, having any kind of representation, in fact, is the team that I'm most concerned about now, and that's San Francisco. Just so many people have opted out that I thought that would.
Yeah.
And it's like we initially thought there might be two San Francisco teams, have like 6, 7, 8 people coming to this thing from San Francisco, and now it's like only Markle, and he may not even race. Because I saw like Todd and Nate are both questionable right now. Like they're both, I think, on the fence. Hopefully Nick can talk him into doing it. But Nate, I understand a little bit more because I know he had a kid. I think a little over a year ago, a year and a half or something. And then I'm not too sure about Todd, but it'd be nice to have both of those guys there for sure. And then that way San Francisco could be complete and have like 7 teams.
Yeah, because that's like one of the early like prime spots of the beer mile. Like that's where the first one was at, and that's
Early
where
A lot of people come from there.
a lot of the OGs came from that particular spot.
Right. And I think Nick told me Garrett and I think his fiance, I want to say, I think they have a wedding that weekend, so they unfortunately can't make it. So we'll see. I did when Nick and I were kind of talking a little bit more, like initially, about the whole team aspect. He said kind of like what we're doing right now, still shuffling people around if we need to. Doesn't have to be perfect. Like I think you guys saw too. Like Will Ryle can't make it. At least I think they updated the doc so that he can't make it or something. Maybe he put his name in there, but he
Yeah.
shifted Anna's name over to Team Austin. But she's from Indiana, I think, but coaches at University of Oklahoma. So it's like kind of close-ish, but like not perfect.
Yeah. I mean, it's like me being on Minnesota.
Exactly. Like you're from Wisconsin, but you live in Denver. So
I was born in Minneapolis, if that helps. So
oh wait, were you
hi there.
actually?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I mean, I only lived there till I was like 1, but
that's fair.
it counts.
That's fair. So
How many free agents so far? Or is there hardly any?
I don't know if there's anybody left now.
Oh,
I don't know.
Really got to dig in to even find that third member.
Yeah, I saw under New England. I think Nick put a couple names there. I'm not.
Yeah, we've been trying to contact them, but the woman Courtney, she responded, and Nick was explaining the whole race, and she wasn't being. I don't know if she was like she wanted to hear all the information, but then didn't really respond after all the information that Nick provided, and then also I jumped in to say, yeah, we're looking for at least one more runner, or a few more runners to like be on Team New England to help us score, but she hadn't responded since then, so.
Yeah.
That fell through. So we're hopefully it's going to be hard to find someone who's willing to fly out to St. Louis, especially it's not 2 months away already.
2 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to come out and just run beer mile unless someone's really sold on, and there's got to be someone out there that would be sold on going there, but it's just trying to find that person and make them aware of
Maybe
it.
we just need to get the word out a little more. I don't know.
Yeah. JC and I are working on it. We already have ideas for content to help try to get more attention. Just because each time that we upload or make an upload or something like that, we get another probably 5 people registered.
I was gonna ask, are you behind that Instagram account?
We both are. So I mean, if I'm being honest, like JC's doing pretty much all the content. I just
I was gonna say you guys have been doing a really good job of promoting it. I mean, you can only reach
that's all people. That's all JC and her coordinating. That's just because she does that already with her running club. So she has experience in knowing how to manage social media accounts from like a club perspective, in like an event standpoint. But we already have a few ideas about trying to promote it and just get the word out a little bit more. At some point, I will be reaching out to pretty much everybody, every elite that's committed, and like either I'll do it or Nick will do it to just reach out to each individual person and maybe have a brief recording saying that they're in, or like, well, I kind of envision having like individual posts for each of the athletes that are committed, and the post is maybe just like 2 or 3 slides, but kind of just shows like who they are, their accolades in the beer mile, maybe what they do currently, kind of thing. Like for example, maybe guys that haven't done a beer mile, or at least not at the World Classic level, like the two Princeton guys, like, show that one of them won pin relays in the steeplechase or something, that kind of thing, just to kind of promote, get more people hyped about it. That's just something I'm kind of envisioning right now from an elite's perspective, but at the local level, we're trying to, we have a couple ideas we're going to play around with. I know that they were at the beer hall a couple weekends ago, like filming some, doing like some photo shoot filming type stuff for more content. And that's all been coordinated by JC, by the way. So she's done a phenomenal job doing all that.
Yeah. It's just awesome to see how much work like all you guys are putting into this. It's just
we're really trying to make the event explode for sure. And the whole Urban Chess Hunt team's on board with it. And I work there now, and they're super stoked about like any kind of updates that we get. Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys knew about this, but we officially got a large grant of money from the neighborhood for this event. That'll be pretty much going towards any like required expenses needed for the actual event itself. So we'll have the handsome prize purse for the elite athletes, as well as an extra $10,000 from the neighborhood to invest towards this event. Some things we've already paid for that we're gonna that's already been covered, and some non-negotiable items that have yet to be paid for that we're gonna get. But hopefully we can maybe still have some left over, or something that we can invest into next year, assuming that things fall into place.
So out of curiosity, I don't know how involved you are in like the setup of everything. Like obviously you're the host city, but like, can you tell us how the whole prize purse setup is going to work and how the race format is going to be? Like, is everybody going to be in one heat for the elites?
Yeah, so everybody's gonna be one heat. I don't to elaborate, I guess, a little bit on the prize purse. I know that there will be, I think top 4 men and women individual, and then I think a team split. I know that there's more. I think there's more allocated money for the individuals. I think that makes sense. If you have prize money for each for the individuals, and there's like 8, then it kind of makes sense for that to be more. And then the team will have, let's split three ways, I guess, depending on how many members are in. But that was the prize first. What was the other part of the question, Joe?
I was just curious about the race format. So like, everybody's gonna be in one heat then? It's just gonna be the women go, and then we wait 90 seconds?
Yeah, so we had a meeting last Monday, with we being me, JC, Gallagher, and Nick, and then a project manager for the timing company that we're working on with this. He said that we're trying to design the chug zone so that way it's that's basically our biggest thing, is like how to design the chug zone so that way we have 25 different people in the race without being too chaotic. And like the start of the race will be easy because the women will go out, I guess, 90 seconds before the men, below 40. And then our concern is like whenever guys like Corey or Chris catch up to the rest of the women in the chug zone, like what are there going to be any conflicts that occur in there whenever? Because there's going to be more and more people likely to meet up at the zone later on the race for like years 3 and 4 than there would be at the start of the race.
Because you were saying it's going to be like different chug zones on either side of the road.
Yeah, so it's basically the chug zone stretches the whole width of the road, but we're going to split it down the middle, and then one chug zone would be like one direction, and then you come back around, and the other chug zone would be from the opposite direction, like when you come back. So it's like a 2-lap race. So picture the chug zone, the start and the finish is in the middle. You go out one way when the road is split halfway, 200 meters, then you come back the opposite direction on the other side of the road into 400 meters, and you're basically on the other side of the road in the chug zone, going the other direction. So
we'll be seeing the lead women coming back to the chug zone before we start, probably, for sure. I bet.
Yeah. Assuming that Yeah, because Melanie can get out pretty hot. Well, she got really hot at Lisbon last year, but she can, still
Yeah.
chug it 8 seconds, I think, and then 7 to 8 seconds for her first one. And then Elizabeth is obviously just a phenomenal runner, and she'll probably be out in like 75 to 80 seconds
Yeah.
with the beer. So they'll be in the second chug zone probably the same time that we go, is what's likely going to happen.
That's
Which
gonna be
should hopefully build some excitement, because that way you
Yeah.
get the top, like at the top women in the chug zone the same time that the men go off. So people are going to be got fancy to see what happens there. And this is all just speculation. Also, something that I noted a while back is I was told by the Urban Chestnut team that the road is from curb to curb is like 54 feet, but it looks like where the chug zone is, it's going to be a little more narrow than that. I think it's like 46 feet across, so 23 feet on each side. But that should still be enough width for if we have like, I guess, 15 to 20 guys on the start line. Kind of Lisbon, I think it was 6 lanes, which is about 24 feet, I think, plus or minus. So I'm not too worried about it. I think we can make it work. But that's kind of the latest update on that. Sorry if I made it more confusing, but we're still kind of work all those details out.
Nope. I think it's good to get all that clarification and just mentally prepare like what's going to look like. And obviously, if it's a minute and a half start, I think those women are going to definitely make it before we even like start. So that'll be interesting and it'd be mentally tasking because like how can we catch up to these women that are a lap ahead? But if we all run best as we can, we probably can catch them towards the end there. But it'll be interesting. I think people want to see like the guys, see if the girls can like, survive like the guys try and like catch up to them and then beat them to the line. I think that would be a pretty interesting thing they'll want to see.
I think that's the goal of it. Initially, we were like, do we just want to offset well, like, we are offsetting the starts, but like, so the macro model race that I told you about earlier, the last year they did it different, but 2 years ago it was the exact same format where the women started before the men, and then women just basically caught up to them. You took the difference between the two course records, and that was the amount of time that the men started after the women. And I do know that it was kind of chaotic, just because first off we finished downhill, and kind of unsafe too, just because like the when you're catching up to somebody that quickly with that amount of people, kind of hard to get around first off, and like you just never know if somebody's gonna like jog in your way or something all of a sudden. So that's the only thing that I have concerns with this offset start idea. So they revised it this past summer where the men just went, and then the women started 1 minute after, and there's just basically just 2 different finish lines. But I don't think we have the width to really do that. I guess we do if we like split the finish line, but we're not going to do it like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, I hate to say, but I do have to get off and just.
All right.
But
Well, thank you for being on here, you two. Really appreciate it.
yeah,
That was great to chat with you guys again.
Yeah.
I
I
know
know
that
we've talked about over text.
This is just a podcast. It was just great just talk to you guys and have this catching up. Feels like it was just catching up with you two.
Yeah.
Instead of like the group text. So it was
absolutely.
great. Yeah. And then hopefully people watch this, they get a little bit understanding, even though I feel like this is becoming more of like a running beer mile podcast. So hopefully I can get guests with, different various topics, but obviously this is kind of an interesting topic itself, people learning about it. And, but I appreciate you guys coming on here and, joining in.
Absolutely. Hey, Joe, one last thing before you might appreciate this a little bit when but got the little blue man with.
I love it.
It's not there, but
I need one of those for my place.
you should. It's quite nice, but no, I no, hey, I really appreciate you bringing us on to Bunnell and Associates, and
Yep.
I wanted to talk a little bit more about each of your individual trainings as well. I know it was a lot of beer mile talk, but hope you got some good content from it and good updates.
Oh, dude, no, it's perfect.
Awesome.
Do we all do a chug before we go?
I don't have anything on me, but
we?
I haven't been chugging beer. I've been chugging water, but
I do have NAs in my fridge now, so I'm not too close, but out of can, probably not would be too great at it.
Doesn't hurt to train.
Don't hurt to train. Maybe some other time.
All right.
I like the idea though. If we talked about it before, I probably would have been down and more prepared, but yeah.
all right.
Friggin- Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's bye and talk to you soon.
Yeah,
Sounds
keep
good.
catching up.
All right. Have a
You
good rest
guys.
of your weekend. Bye, everybody.
See you guys. Take care.